Yes, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman, Alfred.
I'm Batman.
I am Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Greetings, Bat family, and Happy New Year. Welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. Please visit our website, holybatcast.com. It is your one-stop shop for all things Holy BatCast. But don't worry, you can also find us all over social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. You will find us. And if you are a fan of the show, would like to help support the show in a more official way, other than just downloading episodes, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast and help us out with the show. As always, the biggest of thank yous to our patrons. We know you don't have to do it, but you do it anyway, and that's what makes you so cool. So I've got to give a little shout out to our latest patrons, Mr. Eric Carter and Julian Chan.
I know him.
Yeah, Julian Chan, who usually always sends us fun mock-ups of posters and things. But Eric and Julian, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. So that's awesome. Again, if you want to be part of the Bat family in that way, it's patreon.com/holybatcast. We are a part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. So if you want to check out any of those other shows, you can do that at rf4rm.com. As always, I'm your host, Andy DiGenova. You can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova, ANDYDIGENOVA. And this episode is coming a little late, but it is our year-end, beginning of the new year episode. So I guess it's our New Year's episode. We're going to talk about what's going on right now around the DC universe. We're going to talk about some highlights from 2018 as far as DC and Batman go. And then we're going to talk about what we're looking forward to in the coming year for Batman and DC. Joining me for this very reflective New Year celebration, it is the Jim Gordon to my Batman. We are at the diner enjoying our coffee right in the new year. It's Jamie Drewley. Hey, Jamie.
Wait, you're buying the coffee? Sweet.
I am. It is on me. My pleasure.
I knew it was worth getting out of bed this morning. I knew it.
Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year to you, brother.
Yeah.
And I just want to take a moment to say thank you for bringing this California weather east with you, because it's been like 50 degrees for 2 straight days now. And this strange ball of orange light's been in the sky. It's crazy. I'm totally holding you responsible for this in the most positive way I can.
Well, you're welcome, but I'm disappointed because I am recording this from Illinois right now. I'm in my sister's basement recording this podcast for you fine people, because I did take a 2-week trip home to spend time with the family, and I wanted my white Christmas, and I did not get my white Christmas.
Yeah.
It's been too warm and too sunny, and I don't care for it at all. I don't come
when
here
it finally
for
when
warm
it finally
and sunny.
shows up, I'll send you a Ziploc bag full of it, because I'll be trying to get rid of all of it I can.
Please do. Please do. So yes, fine folks at home, if you are listening to this and you're like, it sounds a little different, sounds a little weird. Yeah, that's because I'm doing this on the road. I don't have my nice microphone with me. I just have my laptop, and I am in a basement. So I'm doing the best I can, but I figure better to get you this episode with slightly lower quality than what you're used to than no episode at all, because otherwise, yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks since our last episode, and I wanted to get something out for you for 2019.
Yeah, I mean, this year's, 4 days old now? As
I
we're
know.
recording?
Yeah, it is.
We're slackers.
We are. But, we try. I made no promises, but I do the best I can. So also, because I don't have my microphone with me, maybe there's a little more background noise or something, so I just ask you to bear with me, and please and thank you. But Happy New Year. It is 2019. So we wrapped up one year and into another, and a couple things we want to talk about. So, I guess, let's just say, first of all, Happy New Year, one and all. It's time for our, I guess, somewhat annual year-end episode of Holy BatCast. We've done quite a few of these. In years previous, sometimes I've been super diligent and done my research, and I'm like, here's everything that happened over the year. I didn't have time to do that. Again, I'm still hanging out with my family, but something is better than nothing. But one of the coolest things that has happened over the holiday season is the runaway success of Aquaman.
Aquaman, what's that? I haven't heard of that.
It's a little movie that came out that I thoroughly enjoyed. If you'll listen to our last episode, our Aquaman spoilery review, I loved Aquaman, and thank goodness I'm not the only one, because Aquaman has done what we all hoped it would do, and it has become the event movie of this holiday season. Going in, there was a little trepidation. Some people were a little nervous about the competition. They were a little nervous that Aquaman would get overshadowed by some of the other films being released, but that did not happen. Aquaman, it was his Christmas season, and the leftovers, the scraps, were left for the other movies. So if you follow the Holy BatCast Twitter, I've been trying to do the box office updates, not necessarily daily, but almost daily, just because it's exciting. It's great to not only have a huge win, but a win of this level of Aquaman. And as we're recording this, so we are recording this, as Jamie said, on January 4th, we're going into Aquaman's third weekend at the domestic box office, and then, more or less times at some of the different international markets. We don't need to go into all that. But here's where it stands today, Friday, January 4th, 2019, going into its third weekend. Domestically, Aquaman is up to $229 million domestically in North America. It's going into its third weekend. It's expected to remain number one for its third weekend, and they think that it will end up, by the end of the weekend, somewhere between 250 and 260 million, depending on how strong it goes. So 229 going into its third weekend domestically, and then overseas, this thing is monstrous. So the overseas total is $637 million. Which added with the domestic brings up to 866. And it's about to pass up Batman vs. Superman as the biggest DC movie in this new era of the DC films, starting with Man of Steel. And it's expected to cross $900 million worldwide by the weekend. Or through the weekend, by the end of the weekend is what I'm trying to say. So it's definitely crossing
all of that
900.
with Japan still on the horizon, mind you.
Yeah, it still hasn't been released in Japan. It's done like 280 in China alone. It's doing well everywhere overseas. And yeah, we'll pass $900 million worldwide in the next couple of days. So a big round of applause for James Wan, for Jason Momoa, for Amber Heard, for the entire cast and crew and post-production and effects people and makeup people and everybody. Everybody is celebrating this huge success of Aquaman, as well they should. We're
going to celebrate everybody that had something to do with Aquaman except for Pitbull. He can go.
Yeah, I guess we didn't talk about that in our review, did we?
That's okay. We were keeping it positive. Now that we're another couple of weeks removed, I'm going to say the score to that movie is fantastic. The additional music in over and above the score, crap.
I didn't mind the Pitbull song either. I mean, it's fine. Anyway. A lot of people are like throwing shade at the Pitbull song. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. It's not like pop songs or anything new.
I don't like the new music. I'm the get off my lawn guy when it comes to music. So what do I know?
No, it's fine. I mean, you're certainly not alone. But for me, it was like, oh, okay, that's fine, and I just moved on. But anyway,
he's no Hanson.
He's not, and I mean, he's not. If it was Hanson, Aquaman would have gone from an A to an A+. But they went with Pitbull, and it stayed at an A. It was their mistake, and I hope they learned from it. And in Aquaman 2, they get Hanson, who should be a part of this family.
Somewhere, someone's giggling, but what I know is you're dead serious.
I am dead serious. Hanson's where it's at. We got our little cute, cuddly koala down in Australia. I got him to listen to the Hanson Christmas album this year. He thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm just saying.
It's a good album.
It's a damn good album.
I don't count myself among fans of Hanson necessarily, but I mean, good is good, and that album was good.
We call ourselves Fansons, just so you know.
Fansons, oh, okay. All right.
Just so you know. But not
to be confused with Manson fans, or?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, so Aquaman is huge. It is, it's blasted already past all the other DC films, and again, is just a day or two away from passing Batman versus Superman and will pass $900 million. And if going into the DC films, if you had said, oh, Aquaman's going to be the biggest, who would have believed it? Who would have believed it? But you know what? James Wan delivered a hell of a movie and a hell of a fun movie and something really unique, something we hadn't seen on screen before, and people are having a great time with it. And it has scratched that itch for something super fun and entertaining to go see over the holidays with the whole family.
Absolutely. And you know what? I've seen a few snippets on Twitter here. They're not a lot. The negative always stands out more than the positive. It's just the nature of the world we live in. But I've seen some people kind of, they're mad about this. And all I can say is, why? Even if you don't like the movie, this bodes well for the genre as a whole. I can't comprehend. I mean, I haven't been the world's biggest fan of a number of the Marvel films, but I still like the fact that they do really well for the most part, because that means they're going to keep making other ones too, not just the Marvel films. So I mean, it's good for everybody when that happens. If you're a fan of comic book movies, you should want all of them to do well. And yes, that includes the Fox X-Men and the Deadpool. And I mean, I don't like Deadpool. I don't want anything to do with it. I refuse to watch either one of the films, but I'm glad the movies do what they do for the most part. So
that's too bad. They're
be
pretty
happy
good
about it, guys. There's nothing to be mad about here.
Well, I mean, yeah, I honestly haven't seen much negativity, but maybe I just have gotten better at ignoring it.
Well, I mean, it's like I say, it's really more. I mean, every time I'm on Twitter now, it's like at least every second or third post is saying something nice about Aquaman or its box office or James Wan, and that's great. I love that positivity flowing through there. But every once in a while, one will just pop up somewhere, whether it's somebody retweeting or arguing with or any of that stuff. And I have a tendency of paying more attention to that because I'm curious why this person is against the grain with it. You know, I'm an against the grain kind of guy in a number of cases. So I mean, I get that, but I like seeing where other people's positions are. And frankly, I haven't seen where anybody's given enough against this film where it's anything but they're just mad. There's no real reason I've seen that they don't like it. I mean, they can say that acting or script or CGI or what, the common stuff. I just whatever with that. But again, it's like they're just mad because it's like these people that are voicing this didn't want this movie to do well, and now that it's doing well, they're just not dealing with it very, very pleasantly.
Well, how does it hurt them if it does well?
That's what I'm saying. Why would you not be happy? Again, even if you don't like this movie, why would you not be happy for its success? I don't get it. I don't.
I don't know. All I know is I loved it.
The one example I'll throw out, Infinity War. It was fine. I don't love the movie, but I really want Endgame to be fantastic and do well. I mean, I just again, I mean, I'm not saying everybody should think like me, but I can't wrap my head around not being happy for something's success when it bodes well for an entire genre.
Well, I mean, I have lots about Aquaman's success, and I think, yes, there's going to be petty people. Yes, we all have our teams, right? Of course we do. And we all have our own little biases, and I think that's where it's coming from. A lot of people made up their minds about the DC films after Man of Steel, and they're not going to cut these movies any slack. And they made up their minds. What are you going to do? Might as well go scream at a wall. Whatever. Just ignore them. And even if people have some legitimate gripes about this movie, whatever. Again, I'm not paying a lot of attention to it. Some people are like, well, it's a good movie, but it's not a great movie. I disagree. I think it's a great movie. I think it's a great superhero movie. It's one of my favorites. I love it. There's very little I could have asked for more. I am content as a cucumber. I don't know if that's actually a thing. But anyway, I couldn't be happier with Aquaman is my point. And if you don't love it or whatever, or if a Pitbull song is going to make you go, yeah, but that freaking Pitbull song, whatever, you do you. But one thing that I want to make a point of is Aquaman's success, the story is Aquaman. That's what we should be talking about. The Aquaman success, that story isn't about Superman. That story isn't about Batman versus Superman. That story is not about Justice League. That story is not about Bumblebee. That story is not about Mary Poppins. That story is not about Infinity War. That story is not about Black Panther. The story is Aquaman. James Wan worked his ass off with his team, with everybody who had their hands on that movie, and made a great movie, and they're reaping the success because they made a great movie that offered something unique that people were excited to see and people were willing to pay for on the big screen. That's the story. Stop trying to make it about something else. Enjoy that Aquaman is a good movie, I would say a great movie, that is connected and is hugely successful, and for a character that I never thought would get a movie in my lifetime, not only to get one that's as good as it is, but to have it become the runaway success that it is, that's the story, and that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean, for Aquaman to be the leader of the global pack against the success that was Wonder Woman, and, you know, whether or not you want to acknowledge Man of Steel, BVS, or Suicide Squad as good or bad in whatever subjective way you want to present that, that's fine. But to say that they were not financially successful is asinine. And this is going to surpass all of those.
Right.
And that's the part that boggles my mind, is this is a character that even a lot of fans out there, and I've certainly noticed a lot of Aquaman diehards in the last couple of years. I mean, you and Daniel Adams and several other people that are just, you know, hardcore fans of the character and have been for years. And applause to you guys, because this has got to be putting smiles on all your faces. But this is a character that even a lot of fans considered a joke and dismissed, and don't consider him on the level. And I'm not saying power-wise, but they don't consider him on the level with a Batman, a Superman, a Wonder Woman, even a Green Lantern, Flash. I mean, he was kind of backseat to all those guys in a lot of fans' minds. And for this movie to come out here and do what it's doing with a character that you know, not even taking the formula of a lot of people don't know the character, but it's a character that people who didn't quote unquote know didn't like. That's all the more impressive to me.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, and it's one of those movies where I feel like, oh, if you weren't an Aquaman fan before the movie, I can't imagine not walking out of the movie an Aquaman fan.
Yeah.
Like this movie should create for everyone who's like, Aquaman, you watch this movie, you're like, oh, okay, all right, I get it, it's badass. So no, I love that, and I feel like the best movies have done that. I think that happened in 2008 with Iron Man. It was a character, like, it was nobody's favorite character. Well, I mean, I'm sure it was somebody's, but like, people walked out going, oh, I think Iron Man's my favorite. And I think that this movie does the same thing. You walk out going, I think Aquaman might be my favorite now. He's freaking great. So yeah, I'm so happy with it, and I'm so happy that people have given it a chance, and it's become an event. It's become this massive thing. Something that's interesting, we talked about it in the past, is, the budget was reported at $160 million, and now everyone's reporting it at $200, which is interesting. So I don't know what to believe. But even if we go with the higher budget, which is $200 million, which would not surprise me because the movie, it does not skimp on scale, as we've discussed. It's still far into profitability already. So even if you take that $200 million number, that means it would have had to cross 600 to be quote unquote profitable. And now it's reaching 900. So Warner Brothers is making a ton of money on this, and it's become Warner Brothers' biggest release domestically and internationally of the year. So Warner Brothers is happy as can be. And so now we're all just, counting down the days until we get the sequel announcement, because that's coming. So it is crazy to me to think that, like, the franchises in the DC world that are now leading the charge will be Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
That's something.
Isn't that crazy?
That's really something. It's really something.
Wonder Woman became a runaway success, whatever it was, 2 summers ago. And immediately her sequel got put right into production. Aquaman has, swum past Wonder Woman with ease, if you will. And so his, I'm sure, is right behind it. And it's just crazy that, these are going to be our flagships now, Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
The two where the company decided to get out of the director and storyteller's way and let them make the movie they wanted to make. Imagine that.
Yep, I think we learn. So
anyway, I'm delighted. I wish it all the more success it can possibly muster. At this point, I'm just looking forward to the Blu-ray coming home.
I know. I still want to go see it at least once more in the theater. I was hoping to drag the family while I've been here in Illinois, but with the holidays plus little kids, it just, has been tricky. So we'll see. The good news is it's still in theaters without much competition for the next 3 weeks, so I can probably squeeze in at least one more viewing before I go. But this was the other point I wanted to make, was that what Aquaman proves, and earlier this year what Venom proved, and I think, even stuff like Deadpool, like superhero movies now, like they don't live and die on the marquee value of the character's name anymore. Now they live and die based on the movie itself, the movie. And so I think that's what Aquaman has proved, because you're right, like Aquaman, I think it took so long to get an Aquaman movie for that reason. It's like, oh, who's going to pay to see an Aquaman movie? But you give them something unique, you offer something that people haven't seen before, and they're going to pay you back for it. And I think that's what happened with Venom this year. I didn't think Venom was great, but for whatever reason, it connected. People wanted to see that movie. They wanted something just silly and fun and throwaway, and Venom provided that this fall, and Venom became a huge hit. And it's not like Venom is a character name at the level of a Batman or a Superman or a Spider-Man or whatever. So it is crazy that superhero movies have evolved to the point where now anyone can get a movie, and any one of those movies can be a huge success if the movie offers something that people are willing to pay for. I mean, I think even Suicide Squad was a perfect example of that. Sure, you had Joker, but most of the characters in Suicide Squad were not marquee level names. You could make the argument for Harley Quinn, but that's really it. But pretty still, much. It performed like a top tier comic book movie because it offered something that people hadn't seen before. So just an observation of like, it's no longer about, oh, is this character bankable? It's about, oh, will this movie offer something that people really want to spend their hard-earned money to go to the theater to see?
That's just it. The movies are making fans of comic books, not the other way around now. Mm-hmm. I've talked to the guys in my local shop, countless times about, anytime a movie comes out, of course, we're always in the shop talking about the movie, what we thought about it, what we liked, what we didn't like, much like what we do online with our friends. And they're always saying, yeah, sales on, Wonder Woman sales went through the roof in my local comic book shop after that movie came out. Like within a week's time, they said they were like tripling orders on their Wonder Woman books every week or every 2 weeks or whatever it was. So, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that it does, is this is driving people toward the comics versus 15, 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago. It was more about, we make this movie that fans of these books for these characters that have been around for 60, 70 years, that's what gets them into the theater, is knowing that character's name. But you're exactly right in that's not what the drive is anymore, nor should it be.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I say all that to make the important point, which is there's no reason there shouldn't be a Blue Devil movie.
Well, I mean, you got him on television. You got him in a few comic books showing up lately. So
the proof is in the pudding. If Aquaman can do it, and Venom can do it, and Deadpool can do it, there's no reason Blue Devil can't do it.
They should make a DC movie just called Color Guard, and it should be Black Lightning and Blue Devil and Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Well, I don't really want Booster Gold there, but I know a lot of you do. So I'll say go ahead and add it.
Green Lantern, anybody with a Green Arrow.
Anybody with a color in their name, you got to be in this movie. There you go.
I'm in. I would watch the shit out of that.
Truthfully, I probably would too. I'd probably roll my eyes every time Booster Gold was on, but what are you going to do?
I love that idea. I'm all for it. Anyway, moving on from Aquaman, we did mention Batman, and something came out today. I don't know if you saw it, but I think it's worth mentioning, is that now they're expecting the Batman movie for Matt Reeves to go into production in November 2019. So this came from a reliable source. I think, where does he work? Hollywood Reporter, maybe? Or don't quote me on that. But it's Boris Kitt. I think he's from the Hollywood Reporter. He's the one who said it. Honestly, I'm not writing it in stone, but it also seems like a pretty solid best guess as to when that movie would move forward. So anyway, that's interesting.
So I saw the headline for that. I didn't read the article. I don't know the details because I have a tendency just not clicking on stuff because I'm so disenfranchised with clickbait. It's unbelievable, even from major sources like Hollywood Reporter or Deadline or any of those other ones. But anyway, all I could think to myself was November seems like a pretty good distance away yet, coupled with the fact that they've already put work into it, Reeves with the script or what have you. I'm curious to eventually see the reasons because I'm sure there are probably not any concrete ones mentioned in the article because, this November thing probably isn't really concrete anyway, just, like you say, a best guess, what the reasons are for holding off that long. Now, I've already seen speculation of, well, Ben will be out of rehab by then, or, just people are, circulating their own narrative into what it might mean. But to me, 10 full months plus what we've led up to this point coupled with it, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows? I mean, apparently the script is in good shape. The script has been turned in. There still will be continued work on the script, but for whatever reason, they're targeting November. Who knows why? But, and again, this isn't even from Warner Brothers, so you take it with a grain of salt. But in my brain, I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, if they want to get all their ducks in a row, that gives them time to do that. But I'll say something a little controversial because I know that as fans, we've been super hungry for information about Matt Reeves' Batman, and I get it. And
Ooh, I like it. Let me hunker down. I like controversial.
Well, it's not going to be that controversial. Black Panther's overrated. No, that's not what I was going to say. That is not. That was not the point. So no, fans really want to hear more about Matt Reeves' Batman. And I know there's been a lot of frustration from fans about not getting more information. And I'm going to say, I'm glad. I'm okay with it. I think they're playing it correctly because unless you have something to report, just work. Go do your thing. We got plenty of other stuff to keep us busy. I get it. We're impatient. We're geeks. We want now. We want the world. We want the whole world. I get it. But I have no problem with them going quiet on the Batman while they just get their stuff in order. We have other things to keep us occupied and entertained in the meantime. And so I'm fine with just being patient and not getting information until the information is concrete and real. So I understand your frustrations out there, my friends, but it's fine. Let them do what they're going to do. The movie's still happening. I know that the silence makes us nervous, but personally, I think they've handled it the right way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's not that controversial. It's just, I've just seen a lot of frustration from people being like, why haven't we heard anything? It's never going to happen. I'm like, it's fine. Let them do what they got to do.
If we can get and I use this not as a derogatory term against it, but I mean, if we can get these filler movies, and I'm not saying that because I don't think Aquaman is filler, and I don't think Wonder Woman 84 will be filler. I don't think any of this stuff is truly filler, but I'm just using that as an expression. If these filler movies are the quality level of like what Aquaman was, what I'm hoping Shazam will be, what I'm hoping Joker will be come October, I'm okay having a little bit more distance with Batman. I really am.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not starving for
on a big screen
content,
as bad as anybody else.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's not like we're in the situation of the distance between, say, Batman and Robin and Batman Begins.
Well, and especially
we're
in that gap, there was nothing else. There was Smallville. I watched Smallville religiously because it was literally the only DC content I was getting. We've got plenty of tasty appetizers to hold us over until that main course shows up. Yeah. So
just walk around the buffet tables and graze, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be all right.
Yeah, the problem is I'm not good at that. I always fill up. I just can't help myself.
There's always room for Batman, like Jell-O.
I'm a glutton for geekery. So exactly. We have so much other stuff going on, and it's all good. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. That is a huge gap in time. That's another 10, 11 months. We'll see. We'll just wait and see, but it's fine. But we're going to get to dive into the Batman world on screen again soon. So this is another thing that was worth mentioning. We saw it out there. I don't know if it's confirmed, but Birds of Prey, we do know that Birds of Prey is set to start filming in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to get some good stuff from Birds of Prey coming very soon. But the thing I wanted to talk about, you brought it up, and that's what made me go look for it, was that the reported budget for Birds of Prey is $63 million.
Now, that's something I got from Ray over at Fans Without Borders and the Squadcast Network. I don't know what that source was. I mean, it was a quoted tweet that I saw that he put out there.
Yeah.
And I did not recognize the source. So I don't know the legitimacy of it. But if we're talking a Hamada-run studio right now, I mean, I don't see any reason why it would need to be much bigger than that.
Yeah, I mean, and I saw the same tweet, and it was the same thing where it said, oh, it's going to start whatever, the third week of January. They're going to wrap by April. Reported budget $63 million. And there was just a couple little like bullet points of information, and those were the biggest. But it all made sense. Again, yeah, of course we take it with a grain of salt because I don't think that came directly from Warner Brothers. But that was my reaction. I'm like, oh, this is Walter Hamada. This is what he does. He came from New Line, where he kept his budgets in order, and so that way movies could just be profitable. That's what he did with the Conjuring movies. Like that's his thing. That's what he did with It. And then what we've heard about the Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix with a $50 million budget, and now Birds of Prey for $63 million, if that's what it is. I have no reason not to believe that, though. That makes sense to me.
No,
you're not paying for any big name
right.
actors. You're paying for good actors, but not ones that command huge salaries. These are all pretty street level heroes, so you're not paying for massive CGI battles. So there's not a great reason for this to be a $200 million movie anyway. And so if they really managed the budget to keep it around that $63 million mark, that's great news. That's exciting news. And it's smart. It's so smart, because then this movie doesn't have the weight of the world resting on its shoulders. I'm sorry, Aquaman, if they spent $200 million on, now you're in another situation where that movie's got to at least be a hit, because that's a huge budget. $200 million ain't nothing to sneeze at, even though James Wan spent it very well on screen. A $63 million Birds of Prey movie, you gotta clear whatever, $180 or $180. That's just Jamie's take. $180 million.
You got drooly math going on here on this box office stuff now.
Yeah, $180 million worldwide, and you're in the black and smooth sailing.
And that's, I mean, unless this thing just is an absolute stink bomb from the word go, there's no way it doesn't make that much money. There's just no way.
Well, and that's the thing is, and we just mentioned it earlier, is Deadpool. I love both those movies. And Deadpool 1, they made for that, like $60 million. Right in that neighborhood. I think it was, it might have been 57. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Somewhere in that $60 million range, they made that first Deadpool movie because they're like, hey, okay, it's got a fan, there are fans of Deadpool, but we are not treating this like an X-Men movie. I'm sorry, we're not spending X-Men money on Deadpool. So you get this, you get $60 million, and do the best you can. And of course, it was nothing but profit for 20th Century Fox. And then here's the most important thing. I went and saw that movie, and they spent it super smartly, and never in that movie did I go, oh God, this movie's so cheap. Like, I never felt shortchanged by the scope of Deadpool because it only had a $60 million budget. And Deadpool 2, they got a lot more money, still not $200 million though, and same thing. So you can still spend on a budget of that size and make a satisfying movie with the right level of scope, just epic enough, and the audience doesn't feel cheated, but again, it doesn't have to do $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's exciting news too about Birds of Prey.
Not to mention the template. I mean, it's obviously going to be a minute before we see what Birds of Prey is going to do, but that might be the best gateway into Nightwing, Deathstroke, and any of these other ones that we keep talking about over and over that we really need to see too.
Yeah, well, and that's just
obviously
it. Yeah.
These are all characters and movies that can be done on similar style budgets.
Totally. Nightwing can be a $50 million movie. Deathstroke could be a $50 million movie. Count me in. So, exciting news there. That will at least be set in the Batman universe, which is just as exciting. But we're getting plenty of Batman universe on TV, so the other thing I wanted to talk about was Titans. So we have finished season 1 of Titans.
Kind of.
So yeah, the finale was beamed to our devices right before Christmas, and I didn't watch it until after Christmas because, Christmas. And so I will say, I mean, I guess if we're getting into highlights of Batman content or DC content in 2018, one of my highlights was Titans. I have been so happy with this show. I've loved this show. I look forward to it week in, week out. Love this show. Until the finale, which I thought was kind of bullshit.
I really enjoyed the episode, but I really would have liked to have seen that what is it, the 12th episode that would have come right behind it that they pulled off from under us?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that shows sometimes end on cliffhangers and such, but if what I've heard is true, and I don't have any confirmation from anywhere, you may know, I don't know if you know or not, but if what I've heard is true and there was truly a 12th episode finale filmed for that series and they decided to pull it and make it the first episode of season 2, that's pretty that's wrong. That's
bullshit.
Just wrong.
Bullshit. The bullshit finale is bullshit, and this bullshit can get the hell out of here. I guarantee you there was a 12th episode because I think I mentioned it. I'd seen pictures of stuff that was not in this season, and they didn't start shooting season 2 yet. So I saw pictures of Corey with new hair in a actual Starfire costume that we never saw. So I know they shot more. And here's the thing, the episode wasn't even that good, in my opinion. It wasn't even that good. I was disappointed with it. It was...
I liked it, but I was curious how you were going to react because it basically, I mean, it's not like the whole world didn't know going into the thing. So I'm just going to come out and say it. I was curious what you were going to think about it, taking that over the edge kind of approach to it.
Yeah, just a huge waste of time. Like, oh, here's a bunch of stuff that doesn't happen and doesn't matter. We just wasted an hour of your life.
I was very entertained by what I saw. I liked it, and I thought it was really well done. But to leave that be what you're going to hang me out to dry for until season 2 gets up and around, whenever that may be, because I haven't heard. That's cold. That's just cold.
Well, and it didn't even feel like a finale. That's why I'm like, oh, you were such a liar. Like, this is just another episode.
I mean, there were so many of us that were convinced that this was going to be a 2-hour episode, because that's why it went from 12 to 11 they're just going to double up and make this the last episode a double length. And when I signed in at 6 a.m. that morning to watch that episode and I saw it was 46 or 48 minutes or whatever it was, I thought, you sons of bitches.
Yep. Well, okay, so here's what I liked about it. And I won't get too spoilery. If you saw the trailer for the finale, you know what it is. It's 5 years into the future, and Batman has gone, over the edge, and Dick Grayson has to go back to Gotham to stop him. So it's Batman versus Robin. That was what they sold it. And anyone with a brain realized, oh, that's not really what's happening, because the last episode ended with Robin walking into the domain of Trigon. So, of course, that what we saw, we knew was bullshit from the very first moment of the episode. And what I liked about it is I liked just being able to play in the Batman corner of the Titans show. So I liked being in Gotham. I liked the Easter eggs. I liked the little nods to different characters and villains. And I just liked playing in that world a little bit. We get to see a little bit of Arkham. We get to see a little more of the Batcave. And I liked seeing that stuff. And you get some glimpses of Batman. So sure, it's kind of fun to see that stuff. But as you said, and yeah, this is definitely how I felt. I'm like, none of this matters. This is a complete waste of everybody's time because none of this is happening. And it doesn't even inform anything that is happening in the actual show. It's just a pointless detour for us to see something. And if it was its own episode and we got another finale within the continuity of what was happening, I'd probably be a little more forgiving. But it's just a waste of time. And then here's the other thing is, yeah, you get glimpses of Batman. That's not spoilery. It was in the trailer. You get glimpses of Batman. And literally, all you get is what was in the trailer.
There's not really much more to it.
They already showed you what there was, and there were a couple shots where he looked pretty good, and then there were a couple shots where he looked god-awful. And I was like, okay, if you're going to have Batman, and I'm all for it, I support you having Batman. Obviously, I run Holy BatCast. I waste a lot of my life talking about Batman. That's what I do. That suit better look okay. Okay? Like, it had that stupid floppy neck thing that was distracting and made it look like a Halloween costume. So the whole thing was pointless. None of it happened. Batman looked kind of crappy half the time. You didn't really even get Batman. And then it leaves you not even on a real cliffhanger. It's just like, oh, end of episode. See you in a few months.
Or a year.
Or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So for a show I've been loving, man, like they sure screwed the pooch on the last episode. For me.
Continuity-wise, I 100% agree. But I found the quality of the episode itself to be enjoyable. But you and I have, I don't know if you want to call it a philosophical difference in those kind of presentations, and that I tend to really like them and you tend to really not be as big of a fan of them. So again, I never heard your thoughts about it, so I was curious where it was going to land, but I can't say I'm surprised.
and there are some of those that I don't dislike, like some I like more than others. But yeah, this one I was just like, what was the point? What was the point in any of this? So yeah, I think when it ended, I did the, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, I think it was really raw of them to do it the way they did.
They told, and again, if there was one more coming, I'd be like, okay, fine. It was pointless, but it was kind of fun to watch. I'd be fine with it. So
that was not where they should have left us. I think that's where we definitely agree on the episode. And
yeah.
I think a lot of people out there do agree as well. That's not where they should have left us hanging.
Yeah. We all wanted to see the damn Titans together as the Titans, and we didn't get it in a whole first season. Come on.
Maybe even a shot of the real Trigon. I mean, I fully expected the season to end with them teamed up and in costume and saying, they wouldn't say Titans go in the show, I'm sure, but, suit up, let's do this, and have Trigon revealed right there at the end, and then I figured credits would roll right there. That was my
that'd be better.
Own expectation.
Yeah. And then they'd all enjoy waffles.
Or shrimp and prime rib.
So anyway, for a show I have loved, and I really have, and I'm sure I will love it in season 2 once I finally get the finale I'm supposed to be watching right now. I'm sure I'll like it again, but I just think they fumbled it at the end there.
And now I've seen, this is of course speculation. There's no substance to any of this, but I'm curious as to your thoughts because you've usually got a good amount of insight, better than most that I know. I've seen some people speculate that the reason that it was pulled is because they decided that they wanted to go a different direction and do something different than what they'd already filmed.
I have no idea. I mean, at least that would give some rationale for it.
Yeah.
Other than just to frustrate Andy DiGenova. But I wouldn't put it past them. So, I mean, yeah, maybe they're like, we want the story to go a different direction. So if we pull this episode, we can adjust. Maybe. Certainly possible. So, anyway, that's how I feel about Titans. Otherwise, it was one of my highlights of the year until the piece of coal it put in my Christmas stocking at the end. You dum-dums. What about you, Jamie? What were some of your DC-related highlights in 2018?
Aquaman.
There you go. See, so yeah, DC gave us a wonderful Christmas gift in Aquaman at the end of the year to help balance out the lump of coal.
I don't remember if it started in late 17 or early 18 because my memory of timeline is terrible, but Batman White Knight was certainly a highlight for me.
Okay. And that is still sitting on my iPad ready to be read, but I was actually going to read it while I've been doing some catch-up reading while I've been out of town, and I was going to start it, and I was like, no, wait, I want to wait until we've committed to doing an episode, and then I'm going to read it. So it's ready to go when you're ready.
Okay.
Because I've heard nothing but great things. I've purchased it. It's sitting there waiting on me. So I just need the green light.
I've got the trade sitting right next to me. I liked it so much, I bought all the single issues and read them as they came out. And right here on the arm of the couch right next to me, there it is.
So I'm excited to finally dive into White Knight because, yes, I've heard not just from you, but from a lot of people I respect. Unlike you. I'm just kidding. I respect you too. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
I'm acting like I didn't even hear that.
I will say one of the lowlights was the Batman book. Like, I think once I got through the wedding, I pretty much jumped off.
That book has not been pleasant for me to read.
Yeah, I'm behind now because like after the wedding, I think I read one or two more, and then I was like, I just don't care anymore. So I stopped buying it.
It's consistent. I haven't stopped buying it because I can't bring myself not to have a Batman book when it's in publication. But at the same time, it's always at the bottom of my stack. I mean, I read everything before I read that.
Yeah. No, it's all good, and I'm not trying to hate on it or anything. Like for the people who it works for, that's great. Like I want you to have a Batman book you're happy with. For me, it's not that book, so I just was like, why am I buying it? I'll jump back in when the time comes, but for now, I don't really enjoy it. So I might as well save my whatever it is, $3 or $4 every 2 weeks.
Right, and that's one of the few that's even still publishing twice a month.
Yeah. So I mean, I've enjoyed Detective as it's gone. Even without
Are you
tying
current on Detective? Have you gotten to the issue with Tomasi yet?
No, I think I'm 1 or 2 behind, but I've kept up on it.
That is excellence at its finest. I mean, it's you know what a big fan I was of Tynan's run with it, and then I think it was James Robinson, I want to say it was, that filled in the middle there.
Yeah.
And his run was respectable. I don't think it was as good as Tynan's, not even close, but I had still enjoyed reading the book every time it came out. But there's only been one issue that I've got. I think another one just came out a day or two ago for the second one for Tomasi. I'm not positive, but I think it did because I haven't picked up my stack this week. And that first issue of his run, boy, whew, yeah, that'll work.
Cool. All right, that's good to know. Then I will try to catch up. So
also on the comic book front, I've really enjoyed the heck out of Aquaman Drowned Earth. I thought was an excellent crossover. And Justice League Dark has been a huge highlight for me as well.
Yeah, that one I've been reading, and that one I've enjoyed. Blue Devil forever, and also James Tynion forever. So
exactly,
you and I both share admiration for Tynion. We both like his writing a lot. So yeah, I definitely jumped over to that one once I knew he was, and he didn't let me down. I'm really enjoying it.
Absolutely. Let's see what else went on in 2018.
So TV-wise,
Batwoman was a big highlight.
We got to meet our first live action Batwoman, which is exciting, and we can talk more about her when we're looking forward to 2019. So that was exciting. Even though we wanted more, we're gonna get more. But yeah, we got Batwoman. We got the end of season 4 of Gotham, which I know you follow religiously, so I'm sure you have a lot to say.
Hey, I'm delighted that the season, was it season 5 that just started this week?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm delighted that that's here, but not for the same reasons that fans of the show are.
The begining of the end.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to watch. I'm into the end. I'm into the bitter end.
You're this far invested, man. You just got to ride the wave. But I saw a commercial for it the other day talking about the final season, and I saw some snippets and characters and such, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Well, don't even need to open that book. I'm good. I'll be okay.
All right. So yeah, I mean, we did. I don't even remember how season 4 ended. Well, I know I kind of remember how season 4 ended, but yeah, season 5 just started up yesterday, I think, as of this recording. But otherwise, TV Titans for me was the big thing, and the DC Universe app, I guess, in general.
Was it this year that Black Lightning started, like the calendar year, or was it 17?
It might have been. It might have been winter of 2018.
I think it was. I'm not positive on that, but I think it was. But if that's the case, that was definitely the king of highlights for me because that's still my favorite DC television show running right now. I mean, as much as I love Titans and the CW, well, some of the CW stuff, that to me is head and shoulders above anything else.
I loved season 1, and I have not watched any of season 2.
I mean, if you like season 1, there's no reason you wouldn't like season 2.
I'll catch up on it once it hits Netflix, I think. But yeah, I just a lot of this year got away from me, and so even as far as the DC shows go, I've kept up on Titans. That's like my top priority, and then I've kept up mostly on Legends and kind of on Supergirl and the Flash, but like not Arrow, not Black Lightning, and even Supergirl and the Flash, I'm a few behind on. It's just there's just a lot of them, and it's as things happen and I don't find the time, unfortunately, they just kind of fall by the wayside.
Oh, I believe me, I completely understand.
So yeah, so I'm like, I'll catch up on Black Lightning. You had your
controversial moment. I'm going to have mine now. Tobias Whale in the Black Lightning TV show on CW is the best comic book villain since Heath Ledger's Joker in any medium, animated, comic, or television or movie, you name it. He is the best one since Heath Ledger's Joker.
Damn.
That's not just DC. That counts Marvel too. And yes, I know Kingpin on Daredevil's great, but nope. Give me Tobias Whale over him too.
So I assume he's still causing trouble in season 2.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I did pick up
to an elevated level, I'd say. In fact,
I would hope so after what you just said. Because I liked him in season 1, but I imagine he stepped up big time to get that sort of endorsement from you.
He's fantastic. I every time he's on the screen, once in a while a show will drag just a little bit, and I'll maybe pick up my phone and check a tweet or two or something, and then put it down after a minute. When he's on the screen, I ain't doing nothing but watch and listen. Period.
All right. I saw some. I think it was when I was watching the crossover. Maybe there was like some sort of CW PSA of some sort, and I don't remember what it was, but like all the CW actors were like talking about whatever inclusivity or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like this universe is for everyone.
Yeah,
we're for everyone.
Which I love about the CW shows anyway. I think that's they do it better than anyone. But he was on there and he was like saying something super positive, and I was like, I don't trust him and I don't believe him because he's so scary on the show that I'm like, nope, not listening to you. But yeah, okay, all right. Season 2 Black Lightning. As soon as it hits Netflix, I'm in. So yeah, I mean, I do what I can with the DC shows, and then we only got one DC movie on the big screen. Well, no, we got another one. We got Teen Titans Go to the Movies. That was a DC movie on the big screen.
That's my runaway animated highlight for the year.
Wow. Okay. I've still only seen it the one time, well, 1.5, because since I've been home, my niece is a huge fan, and so I watched a bit of it with her, but I didn't get to watch the whole thing. But I like it. It's a funny movie.
My kids, I can't tell you how many times my kids have watched that just on Christmas break.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've still only seen it just the one time in the theater, too, but, I bought the Blu-ray like the week after it came out because they were pounding on me. They're like, Dad, Teen Titans goes out. Go get it. And I'm like, I'll get it. Relax. And I finally went and got it, and I haven't had time to watch it again myself, but I don't know, probably 3 or 4 times I've come home from work while they've been on Christmas break the last 2 weeks, and that has been on, and they've been watching it.
All right.
So obviously it was their animated highlight of the year too. But they always watch the TV show every single day too. So
yeah. So yeah, I've actually watched more Teen Titans Go in the past week than I ever have in my life because my niece likes it. So it's been on a lot.
Are you viewing the show any differently, just out of curiosity?
I think I finally softened a bit on it. Like, I still wouldn't go out of my way for it, but like, I guess I've just sort of gotten used to it. So,
I would figure, if nothing else, being the avid fan of the DC universes the way that you are, the Easter eggs would have to be something that would appeal to you.
Yeah.
Even if you're not, hip deep into the story that they're telling or whatever, which, they're never super deep anyway, but the background stuff and the periodic cameos of characters and things like that, I would think would be enough to interest you.
Yeah, and it is. And I did buy, I think I told you this last year, I bought the Teen Titans Go Holiday Collection on iTunes because my love of Christmas specials was enough to like overcome my not love for Teen Titans Go. So I did watch a few of those as well. And their little Santa Claus song is pretty catchy. You know that one?
Yep.
All hail the jolly fat man. That one?
Well, my kids were singing that about a week and a half ago. So, yeah.
So yeah, that's a catchy little ditty. So yeah, I think the movie helped a lot too. And then yeah, I mean like the show again. I'm not gonna make it appointment watching, but watching it with my niece, watching her laugh at it. I get how you were like, well, but my kids love it, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Now they need to bring Superhero Squad back. I know that's not DC.
I loved that show. That show was awesome. Well, speaking of shows they should bring back, I loved that this year, one of my highlights for this year, but it was super early in the year, was getting a return of Batman the Brave and the Bold with that Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
God, that was so good.
That was a blast.
I had forgotten about it. But then I looked back and was like, what else came out this year? And I saw it and I was like, oh, crap, I need to rewatch that because it's really good. I was very happy with that one. Honestly, definitely. Of all the animated DC movies, I mean, even including Teen Titans Go to the movies, but like all the direct-to-video ones, that was probably my favorite. More than Gotham by Gaslight, more than the Suicide Squad one, definitely more than Batman Ninja. I think it was Scooby-Doo and Brave and the Bold. That was awesome.
Well, I got news for you. We're going to be talking about Batman Ninja again come time to do the Real Fans for Real Movies year-end best of worst of.
Oh, that's right. You always include the direct-to-video stuff in your list.
I do. I mean, it's a movie I spent time watching during the year, so yeah, it's on my list.
Okay, no, that'll be fun.
I sent out the tweet the other day, and I was as stunned as anybody. I've got 2 DC movies and 1 Marvel movie in my top 5 as it currently sits. I've got 2 DC movies and a Marvel movie in my bottom 5 as it currently sits.
Wow.
Yeah. Weird, huh?
I'm trying to think what your other low DC one would be.
Oh, you'll hear soon enough.
Maybe if we can get scheduling.
It'll happen. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, let's just say I'm not putting any money on it. Okay.
Well, you should because it's happening. But anyway, yeah, that Brave and the Bold one was great. And of the animated films that they released direct to video, I would say that was definitely my favorite of the bunch because, Reign of the Superman, I enjoyed it. I don't think it was fantastic.
Death of Superman. Reign of the Superman is next.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing. Death of Superman. I like Gotham by Gaslight. I enjoyed it. I watched it a couple times. I thought it was good. I really liked the movie, but I don't think it was as enjoyable as what that Brave and the Bold one was. But again, I hold Brave and the Bold basically to the level that I hold Batman the Animated Series. So
yeah, no, I'm the same.
May be blasphemous, but
I don't think so. I think for people who actually watch the show, I don't think they'll really argue. It's very different, but that doesn't mean it's any better or worse. It's just as good in its own way. So no, I mean, I'm looking at what was released. It was Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, which I honestly kind of forgotten about, Batman Ninja, Death of Superman. Of those, yeah, like which one would I be in the mood to watch right now? Brave and the Bold, easily. That's the one I would pick to watch right now. I liked Gotham by Gaslight. I didn't love it, but I liked it. Suicide Squad was okay. Batman Ninja, I'm not putting it on my worst stuff, but and Death of Superman I thought was good, but yeah, like I'm telling you, if I'm picking one as the top, it's Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold.
I ain't even mad. And you know what? Just to touch on that Batman Ninja thing is just like I said on that episode, they didn't make that for me, and I did not like that movie at all. But I'm glad it got made.
Did you? So if we're talking lowlights, would that be a DC Batman lowlight for the year?
For me personally, yes. But again, I'm still 100% pleased and glad that it got made. It's just not something they made for me. And there's so much Batman out there, they don't need to make everything Batman for me.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I think that there are plenty of people who feel that way about maybe Brave and the Bold or Teen Titans Go. We've certainly talked about that.
I fought with Guy Milks for 5 years about Batman the Brave and the Bold because he doesn't want to watch it. And I keep trying to tell him, if you watched it and truly gave it the attention it deserves, you would love it, because I know how you love all those obscure DC characters. Like, he's huge. Like Red Tornado is like his favorite Justice League character.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like, he loves Red Tornado.
Then he's in good shape.
Yeah,
there's quite a bit of that.
But he won't watch it because he thinks he has that stigma in his mind that he thinks it's a hokey, silly, more youth-oriented show. And while I think it is generally more youth-oriented than, say, Batman the Animated Series, I don't think it's any discredit to the character the way he's portrayed, or any of the other characters the way they're portrayed, for that matter.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's a good one.
Milks, that's your annual reminder. Watch Brave and the Bold.
And it's all on DC Universe, isn't it? The whole show.
Probably.
It is. So now's the time. If you got the DC Universe app, this is the time to watch it. It's awesome.
Plus that theme song is tight.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you about Batman Ninja. I mean, I think I liked it a little more than you, but I still didn't love it, and I certainly haven't gone back to it, and I don't really have any plans to go back to it. So that tells you. But
I'm good. It's going to go on my shelf and sit next to the other ones, and it'll be one of 3 or 4 that will never come off that shelf.
Unless we do a commentary.
Hateful son of a...
But yeah, it's the same thing. It's not really for me. It was an interesting little novelty, I guess.
Yeah, and for the anime fans like Kevin Kerrigan that we had on that episode, who loved it, and they have that appreciation for that particular style and presentation. And if there was a lot of people out there like him that loved that presentation, or a lot of people that even just loved it because of the pure insanity of it. Great. I'm glad. And again, I am so happy they made this movie that appealed to you. They made it for me. No.
Right. Yeah, and as we mentioned, on the big screen, it was Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which was a pleasant surprise. I enjoyed it. And then it was Aquaman, which I've made abundantly clear I loved. I freaking loved it. So that was certainly a highlight. I mean, if we only were to get one big screen live action DC movie this year, Aquaman delivered and came in late of the year, but at least delivered for me big time.
I'm sad I haven't gone to see it again, but
well, you
life gets
stink
in the way.
and you hate good things.
Well, it doesn't cost you $60 to walk into a movie theater.
You're right. Although when I get the big popcorn and the big soda, it starts getting abundantly close. Anyway, so looking forward to 2019, we still have a lot to look forward to. And I already mentioned, I guess we'll hit it first just because I already went there. We talked about Batwoman. We met Batwoman during the big DC crossover event. My biggest complaint wasn't what we saw of her. It was that we didn't get more of her. And in that conversation that we did have with the guys at the DC TV Squadcast.
Yes. Ray and Brent.
The conversation we had with them, and we were like, wait, did the pilot get greenlit? Didn't it? We think it did. We kind of went back and forth, and it was announced today, as we're recording this, that it is officially greenlit. So apparently, yes, it was in development, but not officially given the go-ahead. Today it was announced that the Batwoman pilot has been given the go-ahead to be directed by David Nutter, who's done so many different pilots over the years, many of them DC-based. And so, yep, the Batwoman pilot is a go. So for people like me who liked what we saw and wanted more of it, we're getting more. We don't really know when yet, but it's very exciting.
One would think they'd want to have it out by this fall, but...
That would make sense.
Gotta get her involved in the crisis. So
yeah, so more Batwoman is coming our way, which is really exciting. Yeah, something to look forward to. So we might be losing Gotham, which is really sad for all the Batman fans out there. but we'll be able to fill that void with Batwoman.
Hey, Gotham is another one of those things, much like Batman Ninja. It ain't for me. They don't make it for me. I don't like it. I don't have the appreciation. But, boy, that show's got a pretty solid fan base. It may not be an enormous fan base, but it's a solid fan base. I'm glad that show exists for people like you and Jeremy Lloyd and Brendan and
Guy
other
Milks.
people out there.
Guy Milks.
Milks, yeah. I mean, you guys appreciate that show for what it is. Great. I'm glad it exists. I don't need to watch it. I got other stuff I can do. So,
I am excited for season 5 because they're going all out. I think they're gonna end strong. I am excited to watch it. It's never been my favorite show, and for the people who don't like it, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I get it, but I'm willing to go with it, and so I want to see how they wrap things up. I've gotten glimpses of things as they've been filming the final season. I'm excited to see how they end it, so for me, that's something to look forward to, and it's already, like I said, in motion. The season premiere happened yesterday, and it's a short season. I think it's 12 or 13 episodes, maybe? It's like a half-season order.
Are they doing the Smallville where, like, the last panel you see is him in the costume?
Well, all I know is that I've already seen little glimpses of a bat suit. I think it was in, like, the coming soon on Gotham. I think it was on, like, their little trailer, but I don't think it'll... I think we're going to get something. I think they're gonna deliver something for us. Oh, did I tell you this? A little highlight from 2018. Did I tell you who I ran into at my local diner where I tend to go have brunch almost every Sunday?
You did mention it, yes.
I ran into Cameron Bykendova, I think is how you say her last name, the young actor who plays Selena Kyle on Gotham. I ran into her at my local diner, and I was sitting there, I was like, wait a minute, I know her. And I went up and said hello, and she was perfectly lovely and nice. And so just for anyone wondering, young Selena Kyle from Gotham, she is a lovely young lady and very, very nice. So anyway, that was kind of just fun and random. And I was like, I'm just a big fan of the show, and I wanted to say hi. And she was like, oh, January 3rd or whatever it was. And she made sure I knew the premiere date. So that was kind of fun.
Right on.
Yeah, anyway.
Actually,
sharing.
That's not the one I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking about the guy that played Solomon Grundy or something like that was who you ran into.
No.
Someplace.
No. Well, the other person I ran into was at Christmas. I went to a double feature in Hollywood, and it was Batman Returns and Gremlins. So, number one, best double feature ever? Yeah, ever. I think so. It was the merriest of Christmas double features.
I'll at least agree with half of it.
Okay. So, they showed Batman Returns first, and I'm just going to go ahead and point out again, for all the Batman fans who do not like Batman Returns, I can go see it at a screening almost every year, and every year, the theater is full. Just saying. That doesn't happen with movies that people hate. So I went to it, and I was like, oh, of course, I got to go. And they introduced the movie, and then they were like, oh, and the writer, Daniel Waters, is here. And so the screenwriter, I watched Batman Returns with the screenwriter of Batman Returns, and then I met him briefly in the lobby afterwards and said hello. And he was wearing a Shrek's t-shirt with that cat emblem, and that was pretty awesome too.
Well, now it's killing me because I can't remember. You said you went to some Chicago restaurant that Joe Mantegna owns out there.
Correct.
And you saw somebody in there that was involved. I thought it was with Gotham. But
no.
I can't remember.
So, sorry, yes, there's a restaurant called Taste Chicago in Burbank, California, owned by Joe Mantegna, and you always see character actors there, or at least I've seen a lot of them there. So, I've seen Joe Mantegna there. I've also seen... what's his name? Howard Hessman from WKRP.
WKRP.
Yeah. Yep.
And head of the class also.
Yep. I've seen him there. John Hurd, who recently passed away, but I had seen him there before. He was the dad on Home Alone.
From Home Alone,
yep.
Yes.
But the other person I saw, there's been a few, but the one that I saw, and only nerds like us would recognize him, it's the cop from The Dark Knight, the one who goes, and you killed 6 of my friends. And
that's right. Yeah.
It was that guy.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't talk to him. I didn't bother him. I let him.
He was basically the Harvey Bullock character.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
But
I know the difference between punks like you. That guy. So yeah, I saw him. I've seen him before. I should have bothered him. I think I should have bothered him and gotten him on the show, but I didn't. I let him enjoy his Chicago beef sandwich.
See, now you said that, and now I'm shook.
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me right
now. So this was not meant to turn into like stargazing with Andy around Burbank, but
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go down that road. I was killing me that I couldn't remember who it was that you said you saw there, and that was him. So
it was him. So anyway, I am looking forward to seeing how Gotham wraps up. I say good for them, and again, for those who don't like it, that's okay. But yeah, we'll probably do a little wrap up after season 5 is over. I'm sure that Jamie will take that week off, but we'll have Jeremy and Guy on like we've done in the past. And as you say, some people like it because when we do those Gotham shows, people download it. So they all must just be silently hiding in the wings, and they don't want to talk about liking Gotham because they get made fun of by people who don't like Gotham. But
or like
there.
me, they listen to the show so they don't have to watch the series.
Could be that too. I do remember, like I think it was two seasons ago where we mentioned that Butch was going to become Solomon Grundy, and you're like, oh, now I kind of want to watch it.
Yeah, I got over that.
Anyway, that's TV. We got Batwoman coming. We've got Gotham wrapping up. And something that just hit today, which I have not jumped into, is season 3 of Young Justice, and I cannot wait to jump into that on DC Universe. So as Titan wrapped up just in time for the holidays are over, Young Justice jumps in, and here we go.
I am 1 1/5 episode in. I was actually watching it right before we got on here to record, and
did they drop the whole season?
No, first 3 episodes.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if they're dropping 3 a week or if they just drop 3 all at once on us or what the pattern is, but it's annoying because I have to wait till later to watch it because I can't get up at 6 and watch it because they didn't release these until 9, the dirtbags. Anyway, for fans of Young Justice seasons 1 and 2, you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah. Can't wait. So yeah, I'm super excited about that, but as you can imagine, being with family, my priorities are elsewhere, but it's something to look forward to as soon as I get home. But that's awesome. Young Justice Season 3. How long have we been waiting for this? So long. It's awesome.
5 years, something like that?
Yeah, jeez. So
is
awesome.
It looks like it's... And the other ones, I don't want to say that they were of like a mature caliber. I mean, it's certainly nowhere near the level that Titans is. I mean, it's not even close to that. But it's not exactly a cartoon that would have got away with airing on, primetime hours or Saturday morning hours on Cartoon Network. They would not. This episode that I finished earlier tonight would never have aired on that channel. Huh.
Interesting. I guess they get the latitude with the DC Universe app.
Obviously.
Very interesting.
And that's not taking away quality, and there's nothing that I find any kind of gratuitous about it. It's just there were 2 moments in the episode where I went, oh. So yeah, digging it so far.
Okay, that can mean only one thing: gratuitous shots of Nightwing's butt.
Well, I'm sure there's some of that,
which is par for the course, as it should be. He does the squats. He doesn't skip glute day. Show it off. Speaking of DC Universe, though, not only can we look forward to Young Justice and more Titans eventually, Doom Patrol's coming sooner than later.
That's next month, right?
Yeah, I think it's February. And then Swamp Thing is not long after.
Swamp Thing is May, I believe it is.
Yeah, Swamp Thing I think is late spring, and Doom Patrol is winter. So that's amazing. Oh,
I think.
Sorry,
go ahead. Oh, the Harley Quinn show, I think, is August is when they're doing that.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's a steady stream.
They had a whole slate listed because it's Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, Stargirl, Harley Quinn, and then I think the thing on it was Titans was the opener, but obviously we were already hip deep into that when that came out. So.
Right.
Anyway, that's kind of their slate going through the rest of the year, I think.
Oh, let me see if I can find it. DC Universe reveals TV show schedule. I hope there's dates here. Doom Patrol, February. Swamp Thing, May. Stargirl, August. Harley Quinn, October?
Okay, I had that one backwards then.
And then... All right. But it does not have a return for Titans. So we shall see. See. But still, that's a lot of good stuff we have coming our way thanks to the DC Universe app. And this was what I wanted to say, is something I did watch while I was here on the DC Universe app is, number one, apparently they had a Yule log.
Yes.
And I missed it.
I watched a little bit of that on Christmas Day. Yeah.
I'm so mad I missed it because I heard it was great. But yeah, like...
It's still on there.
Is
you
it?
Want to watch it now? Yeah.
I tried to look for it the other day and I couldn't find it, but maybe I just didn't know where to look.
Oh, really? I thought I saw it this morning.
Well, let me know if you find it and where to find it, because I'm really sad I didn't get to see it. But I mean, how cool is it they created a DC-specific Yule log to turn on for the holidays? I love that. But something else that I watched is they did an hour-long documentary about the history of Aquaman in celebration of the movie. And I watched that, and it's on your DC Universe app, and this is not a paid endorsement. I just thought that was awesome, and I watched it, and it's great. It's a really good documentary that takes you through Aquaman and like his creation and his evolution in the comics, and then where he started showing up in animation and then in live action, and it eventually leads to the movie. It was really good and totally worth your time. So if you're a big DC fan, like, please watch that. Everyone should watch that because I want them to keep doing original content like that. It's that sort of original content that really makes the service worthwhile. So
nice.
Huge kudos on that. I loved it.
Looking at the app on my phone, in the movies and TV section, I typed in Yule, and there it is.
Oh. Gonna find it. I'm so excited. Maybe I'll just turn it on right now as we're recording, and I'll pretend that it's still Christmas time. So
well,
yeah,
until you get home, it's still technically the holidays. So
that's true. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't even know where to look. But anyway, I can look for it later. That's exciting. So anyway, I've been super happy with DC Universe. Like, that was a highlight of 2018. The DC Universe experience at Comic-Con was a highlight of 2018, and all the stuff that's going to be coming our way for me is something to really look forward to in 2019.
Good stuff coming on the app. Good stuff coming, hopefully, with Batwoman on the CW show. Of course, we got the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover to look forward to by, late fall, early winter next year.
Right.
Late fall, I guess it would be.
Sure.
That's going to be a good one. Shazam. We haven't even mentioned that yet, as far as looking forward in 2019.
Well, yeah.
That's kind of next up on deck.
Well, here's what's crazy. So we're all caught up in this wave of Aquaman excitement.
and we could literally be a matter of days away from a new Shazam trailer, I might add.
I think they said January 19th.
Okay, so a couple weeks then.
I saw that. I don't know where I saw it, so don't quote me on it, but I swear that date is in my brain.
I just know they said January is when it was coming. So,
yeah.
I mean, I can't be more than 3.5 weeks away, right?
Yeah. So here's what's crazy. So we finished, Justice League last fall, Thanksgiving-y, right? Thanksgiving Justice League. And then we had to wait 13 months for Aquaman. So we just got used to it's just going to be a while. So distract ourselves with something else. Now we're watching Aquaman. Aquaman's making all this money. We're talking about Aquaman. Super exciting. And it's so easy to forget that in 4 short months, we've got Shazam. Like, we will have another DC film in front of our eyeballs sooner than you know or think, or sooner than any of us even are paying attention to. So that's exciting.
At time of recording, my little timer that I love to watch on my phone, we are 90 days, 3 hours, 39 minutes, and 41 seconds away. 90 days.
Wow. That's so quick.
And for those of you geeks who go outside of the DC realm, we're 76 days away from Godzilla King of Monsters.
See?
But that's another story. So yeah, we're 3 months away from the next DC movie after that huge gap that we had all basically this last year. And then, 120 days after that or whatever it's going to be, Joker will be out.
Well, yeah.
180 days. 6 months later.
Yeah. So we've got Shazam coming in April, which will still be like Christmas because all indication is that it's a Christmas movie, which makes me so excited. And then not even 6 months later, in October, we got the Joker. So
It's going to be a good year, Tater.
yeah. And then, not to mention, they start filming Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn in a matter of weeks, which means we're going to start getting stuff for that. We're going to start seeing how these gals are going to look. We're going to get a new look for Harley. We're going to see our first big screen Huntress. We've seen live action Huntresses before, but this is our first big screen Huntress. We're going to see our big screen Black Canary. We're going to get more good stuff for Birds of Prey, and it could be coming at any time in the next few weeks. Because once they start filming, and especially once they start filming on location, we're going to see stuff. And
I look forward to this happening.
if they really do wrap in April, the way that report we saw said, we might get our first teaser trailer in time for Comic-Con.
I would say odds of that happening are in the high 90th percentile.
Or at least some footage or something, you know?
Right. Exactly. Bare minimum, you'll get what you got for Wonder Woman 84 last year.
Exactly, right. Because, well, at that point, we'll be less than a year from the release of the movie. Doesn't the movie comes out the following February, and then Comic-Con will be in July.
It comes out in little over 13 months.
So, yeah.
Because that's the movie I'm taking my wife to see for her birthday in 2020, whether she likes it or not.
Well, she better like it.
I might only be able to take her if they hold that R rating thing in place, but I don't want to get into that again.
Yeah, I know. So that's exciting. We're going to see more stuff for Birds of Prey. We're going to actually see Shazam. We're going to see Joker. And then what goes into production after Birds of Prey? We're going to get our first real trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, of course.
Yep.
But I think that is the question: is what goes into production after Birds of Prey?
Sounds like possibly Batman.
Batman or maybe the Flash. Flash is still a contender.
Flash, yeah. Yep. I mean, they've still got directors attached to that one, right?
Yep. Because wait, didn't they say that like production got delayed from spring 19 to fall 19? So if that's...
I don't remember. I know it got delayed. I don't know what the dates or anything were. So.
If that's still the case, then yeah, we might be getting information on that. I do think, and you know, this goes back to what we were discussing with Aquaman. What Wonder Woman proved and what Aquaman proved is that even for the people who did not like Man of Steel or did not like Batman versus Superman or did not like Justice League, that does not ring the death knell on these solo films, because if these solo films are good and if people like them, they will still go. They're not going to hold the grudge that, you know, and I do think some of that grudge did come into play in different instances, but the point is Wonder Woman and Aquaman proved that grudge could be overcome if the movie delivers what people want. And so I do think that will embolden Warner Brothers to move forward on The Flash and to move forward on Aquaman 2. And then whatever happens with Shazam, a Shazam 2 or whatever. So I don't see them abandoning this continuity, especially after Aquaman being the big hit that it is.
Absolutely not. I said right along for most of last year, for anybody who listened or saw me on social media or anything else, the future of the DCEU as we know it rested on the success or failure of Shazam and Aquaman. Now I don't even think Shazam necessarily plays a factor in it because of the rousing success that Aquaman is. I think we're all right.
Yeah, I agree. And I also do think that Shazam's budget is probably more reasonable, is my guess.
Yeah, it's a smaller movie, and I don't mean that as a demeaning thing. It's a different kind of movie, and that's fine. And, you know, obviously there'll be superpowers and special effects and everything else, but I mean, it's not going to be to Aquaman's level on that front.
Sure. No, it won't be. And I think that's by design. I think that's why it's through the New Line. I think, you know, David Sandberg, who has worked in low budget horror before, because of all that, I do think that, you are probably looking at closer to a $120 million budget, maybe 140. I'm just making this up, but if Wonder Woman was 150, then I can't imagine Shazam is more than that.
No, I can't. No, I don't see that.
So, again, I think Shazam is in a great spot. It doesn't have to be this massive thing in order for it to be successful. And you're right. Then it's just another step towards maintaining this current continuity.
And all it needs is just a little bit of that wind with it, like what Aquaman had to push it and give it some legs and get people stirred up. And for the love of God, international release date before U.S. release dates on all DC films from now on, please. I don't see the film not, again, unless it just is a complete stink bomb, which the passion that I feel coming out of Zachary Levi and David Sandberg, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we'll have another success on our hands with that. And I think that riding the Aquaman wave into it, because that pun just won't die, is going to do nothing but push it that much further.
Sure. Yep. I completely agree. So lots to look forward to. But yeah, I do think the biggest question mark for 2019 is which movie moves forward after Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
If Shazam turns into a $500 or $600 million gross, they're all coming. All of them. We'll have a DC movie every month.
Well, you can't. I mean, there are other things that have to fall into place for that to be the case. So that's the question. We should do a poll. What moves into production after Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn?
Realistically speaking, it's got to be Flash or Batman.
Certainly makes sense. Or it could be The Riddler, starring Neil Patrick Harris.
I'd watch the F out of that.
I know, man. I know. So with you. Hopefully that's what Matt Reeves is writing right now into his Batman script. More NPH, less of everything else. So anyway, yeah, other things 2019 might bring us. I feel like those are all the biggies that are on my radar.
What do we got coming on the animated movie front? We've obviously got Reign of Superman coming up here real quick.
Yeah, so are you... they're doing a double feature of The Death of Superman and then Reign of Superman next week. I do think I'm going to go. That's the plan anyway. So that is coming immediately. We've got Batman Hush coming as well.
Hush, that was the other one, yeah.
There's a Wonder Woman one coming. And then there's... Oh, God. I feel like it's a Justice League one. It's like Justice League versus the Secret Six or something like that. Does that sound familiar at all?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm old. My memory doesn't work anymore.
Oh, my gosh. DC.
Now, the Reign of the Superman, that'll be the first one that has the same day drop on DC Universe as it does Blu-ray release, yes?
I think so, yes. So here we go. Reign of Superman, January 29th, but you can see it in theaters next week. Justice League versus the Fatal Five in August. Batman Hush in April 16th. And then
that's quick. God, that's coming right up.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman Bloodlines, October 22nd. So if I do them in order, because I jumped around, because the list I found did not put them in order. They put them in order of most anticipated, which is not helpful. So Reign of Superman first in January, then Hush in April, then Justice League versus the Fatal Five in August, and then Wonder Woman Bloodlines in October. And I feel kind of bad for them because Wonder Woman Bloodlines is coming out October 22nd, because I'm sure they were planning on Wonder Woman 1984 sticking to its November 1st release date. So the big movie was coming out in theaters, and they were going to have a brand new animated one on shelves. And now it's going to be out there by itself because you have to wait till the following summer for Wonder Woman 1984.
We'll be all right. It'll just be something to hold us over.
But there you go. There's the animated ones. And,
pretty decent slate from the sound of it.
And good news, Jamie. I am warming myself by the DCU log, and I feel fine.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yep, it's lovely. I'm as happy as can be. Happy as a kid on Christmas Eve. So, that's what we got for animated coming up. They always announce the next year's animated slate at Comic-Con, so that's something that we can look forward to in July.
And we should get a trailer for Hush at some point coming up real quick because of the, they'll obviously want the little behind-the-scenes snippets and everything on that for the Reign of the Supermen. So
yeah, yep, you're right. Because you always get your first look right as the new one is coming out. I mean, we might. Are you gonna try to go see it in theaters or probably not? It's tough with the kids.
No, I'll wait for it.
Yeah, especially if it's gonna hit day and date with DC Universe app. That's just even more incentive. But whenever these things come to the theater, I do my best to go and support it. I want to.
It's not that I object to doing that. It's just that's $50 or $60, and I can buy 2 copies of the Blu-ray with that.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. So anyway, we'll probably get our first glimpse over the next few weeks.
Right on. Comic books. I need to make sure we mention this before we get done. Comic books I'm looking forward to this year. The White Knight sequel that Sean Murphy is writing that's dealing with Azrael, and I can't wait to see his take on Azrael because he had a pretty unique perspective on some of the characters that we know and love with, Joker, Harley, Batman, the Robins, all that stuff going on in White Knight. So I'm very interested to see what he does with Azrael coming up in this sequel.
So do we know when that's coming out?
I want to say spring. I'm not positive on that.
Okay.
If only these devices would tell me this information.
I know, it's real sad.
Coming in 2019, I can tell you that much.
Cool. Things to look forward to on this show, the 80th anniversary of Batman. I don't know how we're celebrating on this show, but
solicitations came out this week for Detective Comics 1000 also, I might add.
Yep, see, that's a biggie.
That's they're doing the Action 1000 route. There's 10 or 11 different covers. Counts the blank one.
Cool. So I've seen some of those already, so that's exciting. That will be a biggie this year.
Obviously, we'll be covering Detective 1000 on the show, yes.
Mm-hmm. Of course, obviously.
Yeah.
We're going to try to be more regular with our animated series reviews. Ha!
Yes, that's my yep. That's new. That's my New Year's resolution is to stick to those a little bit better because we're too close to the finish line to be sporadic about it now. And obviously, we have 10,000 other things that we can do as the follow up to that. So
yeah,
we'll be a little more focused.
My New Year's resolution is the same as it is every year. Don't die.
That's pretty solid.
I
like that.
I feel like then everything else falls into place.
Everything else is secondary to that.
Yep, just stay alive. I don't ask for much. I'm a simple man, simple tastes. Anyway.
We should have another milestone coming up this year too, if I'm not mistaken.
In a matter of a month or two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're figure out something for that.
We're coming up on our 200th episode.
Maybe we should just push that off until Detective 1000's out, so we don't have to think of anything to celebrate, and we'll have it pre-done.
I'm sure we can think of something.
Maybe.
Here's an idea. Let the listeners decide, guys. As we're recording, this is episode number 192. You got 8 episodes to send us your ideas for how we should celebrate episode number 200. We'd love to hear your ideas, even the crappy ones. Doesn't mean we'll pick them, but we love ideas, and why don't we solicit it from our friends and family out there? How would you like us to celebrate episode 200? If you got an idea, we want to hear it. Send it to us. Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. Please and thank you.
If it's a Batman and Robin commentary or retrospective, yeah, go ahead and just don't write that.
We don't have to accept any ideas, but I'd like to hear them. If it's a Batman Ninja commentary, you're already in the lead. Because we like to torture Jamie. It's just fun for all of us.
All of us, yeah.
All right, cool. So 2018 in the books. I'm looking forward to more Batman DC geeky goodness in 2019, and we just keep moving forward. Yeah.
2019's a good year so far.
I mean, 4 days in, and here we are. So
Tough
far I'm keeping my resolution.
Tough to gauge the quality of the year on 4 days, but so far so good.
You know, one of these years you're going to have to do one of these episodes by yourself and go, well, Andy failed his resolution. He did. All right.
I'll have to have somebody else step in and tell me how to do all the recording stuff because I still don't know how to do any of that crap.
Call Brendan. Oh my God! On the Yule log, the Joker just put a piece of coal in Bruce's stocking. Mm-hmm. What a stinker! What a stinker! And there's even
amazing.
a little.
I'm telling you.
There's even a little menorah, which I love. This is fun. Okay. All right, well, there you go. Year-end, wrap-up, and looking forward. But we're not going to leave you hanging because, as always, we have to hear what you all have to say as we crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren, what is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
All right, this message here is from Matthew Malecki. We know this guy. It says, Andy and Jamie, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you for continuing to provide hours of excellent content. It's always a pleasure listening. Well, it's content. I'm glad you guys think it's excellent. It says, I loved Aquaman. I loved the episode review you guys did for it. I still have a hard time believing that we have an Aquaman movie and that it's as great as it is. Pinch me. Or better yet, poke me with a trident. Oh, Matthew, what you do in your bedroom is completely your business.
I'm a married man. I ain't poking you with my trident.
Says, here's hoping it continues to make waves at the box office well into the new year. Do you think Aquaman's success makes it more likely that we'll get another Justice League movie sooner rather than later and hopefully get a payoff to the amazing Legion of Doom post-credit scene? Or do you think WB wants quite a few more wins before they would consider a Justice League sequel? Sincerely, Matt Malecki. Jamie, thoughts? First of all, Matt, thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I agree. Aquaman is awesome. But Jamie, what do you think about a Justice League sequel?
I walked out of Aquaman saying, give me my Legion of Doom movie now because we got a couple more fine pieces in line for it. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to say it, but in my heart, I don't really believe we'll see that anytime in the near future.
Yeah, I think your second option is likely. They want a few more wins, but I don't think it is off the table. Especially if the right director says, you know what, I'll take it. I think Warner Brothers would let them. You know, if James Wan said, I want to do the next Justice League, I think they would talk to him about it, and I think they'd be open to it. But I do think that, yeah, Wonder Woman was a big win. Aquaman's a big win. If Shazam's a big win, you know, like I think they just need a couple more to feel confident enough to move forward on more Justice League. But I'm with Jamie, man. Now you got Black Manta. Let him join the team. Next message here is from Devin Stanley. It says, hey guys, I finished watching Titans and now I'm getting around to exploring the rest of the app. I'm noticing that the comic section has a lot of issue number 1s, but nothing past that. A lot of taste tests, but not a lot of meals. Are there any complete arcs on there that you recommend? Also, have you given more thought to a Holy BatCast DC Universe book club like you do with the animated series? Thanks for everything you do, Devin. Devin, thank you so much for the message. I'll tell you, I haven't fully explored all the comics that are available on here, so I couldn't tell you a specific arc. I've been sampling little bits here and there as well. I like when, you know, like I did read some old Titans stuff because they put that on the landing page when Titans launched, and so I was like, oh, great, sure, I'll read some Titans. But I'm still not even sure how much stuff is on there either. Jamie, anything that you've seen on there that you're like, yeah, definitely go jump on this?
It's harder for me to do because unless there's something I'm specifically going in there to hunt for, I don't really pay attention to it because I do some of the stuff on my phone and the rest of it I do on my laptop. Obviously, reading comics on the laptop could work, but I have so much other stuff that I'm currently reading and trades that I'm reading that I don't focus a lot on the reading to be done on the app. So I'm not going to be much help there. I can tell you that this morning, when I was disappointed to find out that Young Justice started at 9 a.m. instead of 6 a.m., jerk faces, I did read the 2 Young Justice comics that were in there that were prequels leading into the show. I was whelmed by them, but reading comics on an iPhone 7 Plus is garbage. I don't recommend that.
No, not an iPhone. Ooh. If you had an iPad, different story completely.
That requires money that I don't have right now. So.
Well, the money you save from not going to see Reign of Superman, put it in a kitty and just wait until it gets big enough.
Right.
A DC Universe book club. I haven't really thought about it, but I kind of like the idea. So, as we continue to tie what's available on the app into the show, that's a good option. You know, when we do maybe these comics reviews, we find something on there, and just so we know that it's accessible. Next message is from Evan Baker. It says, hey, Andy and Jamie, and anyone else who might be there. This is not a criticism, but a good thing. Do you two get Indiana Jones vibes in Aquaman when they're looking for those clues? I'm in a comics rut. All I'm reading is Drowned, Main Batman, and Spider-Geddon. Is there anything else I should read? Sincerely, Evan Baker. Evan, thank you for the message. Absolutely Indiana Jones vibes. James Wan has even said that. He even said he was trying to channel a little Raiders of the Lost Ark there, and if you're going to get inspiration, that is not a bad place to get it from. As far as comics rut, I'm going to let Jamie take that because that's his dealio.
Simple things to catch up on. Drowned, I don't know if that means a series called Drowned or if you're talking about Drowned Earth. If you're not reading Drowned Earth, I highly recommend that. That's a pretty easy one to catch up on. Batman Kings of Fear is the most underrated and under-talked about miniseries. Probably, I mean, White Knight, everybody talked about that, so I can't say that was underrated. But Kings of Fear is not getting its due respect, and that series has been excellent. It's been great writing. The artwork is as good as I've ever seen from Kelly Jones, and I look forward to that book every single time it comes out. It's, I believe, 4 issues into its 6-issue run, so I would recommend getting on that. Aquaman just launched relaunched. It's not a new number. I think it's number 43 with a new creative team, and 1 issue in, I'm interested to see what comes from that yet. Detective, Tomasi's run on Detective just started with, I believe, 994, maybe 993, something like that. Anyway, it just came out 2-3 weeks ago. That is right on. That's where you want to be if you're reading Batman, is that book right there. As far as other stuff, I mean, I could go on and on, but those would be the ones I'd suggest to get on right now.
What's the one, Kings of Fear?
Yes, it's a Batman Scarecrow story, and it's excellent.
I feel like I need to add that to my read list just because I like what I'm hearing. Cool. All right, next message is from The Red Arrow. It says, hey guys, I listened to your Aquaman review. While I love the movie, I do have some disagreement with you guys. I personally loved Mera. I thought she was the best part. My only problem with the film was Black Manta. I felt he was forced in and would have served better as the villain for the sequel. It seems that he's still going to be the villain for the sequel, but I think the first movie should have only set him up instead of us seeing him in full Manta gear. I'm sure you guys disagree, and that's fine. Also, not sure if you'll already go over the topic before reading this, but what are your overall thoughts on Titans? I personally thought it was a very enjoyable season with great characters, but a disappointing ending. Still ready for season 2. Sorry for the long email. Have a great day. Since I'm sending this on Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you, The Red Arrow. I guess that makes you Roy? I guess that's Roy?
Yep.
Hey, Roy.
Yep.
Well, I think we covered Titans. We're with you. We loved the season, but the finale, a little bit of a letdown, but yeah, season 2, bring it on. As far as Black Manta, Jamie, I mean, Black Manta was one of your highlights of the movie, so
Manta was my MVP of the
let
entire
Roy
film.
have it. Let him have it.
Yeah.
You show him who's boss.
Hey, everybody's got different tastes. It's cool. It doesn't matter. All I can say is agree to disagree on Manta. He was my MVP of the film. For all the greatness that film had going on, I don't think anything was over and above him. I think he was certainly my ultimate highlight of the film as far as characters were concerned. And as far as Mera is concerned, I like Mera. I really do. And again, to reiterate what I said on the last episode, a lot of my problem with Mera is probably my own baggage that I brought in, because Mera is basically my favorite character in the comics for the Aquaman portion of the DC universe. So I probably had unmeetable expectations coming in with that character. So I don't have any real true issues with Mara in the film other than the wine thing that I brought up, but I'm not getting into that again. But as far as the character herself, I think she was good. I really liked her. When you see something brought to life that's basically a favorite of yours, and it's just hard to meet the hype and expectation that you have for it, and that's kind of what I fell victim to with it. And if I see the movie a second time, my appreciations might be different. I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody say how much better the movie gets with repeat viewings. I've still unfortunately only seen it once. So maybe any issues that I took into it with me the first time would not be there in subsequent viewings.
I think I even said this on our review episode, is I felt the same way. I understood where you're coming from with Mara, and then when I saw it again, I was like, oh, actually, she does do a lot more than maybe I gave her credit for on the first viewing. So I do think that it might help a little bit. Also, you're a slacker, and you need to get off your duff and go see Aquaman again. So just so you know. Anyway, as far as the Black Manta point, I understand where you're coming from, the Red Arrow. I mean, I don't agree. I'm really glad we got Black Manta in all his glory, because who knows if we'd have gotten a sequel. So I'm glad we got him. But yeah, I mean, as we've mentioned, for me, a plus of the movie is the fact how much stuff was able to be included, including Black Manta. So it's not a complaint for me. For me, it's a good thing. But I get why you would say it. So no worries. Next message here, Stuart Busire. Hey, Andy and Jamie, it's Stuart from Guernsey. I'm just messaging to say I hope you both have an awesome Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks for all you two do, giving us hours of entertainment each year. I'm not just saying this, but your podcast is my favorite out there. Here's to an awesome 2019 for DC and Holy BatCast. Also, thanks to everyone who joins the show as guests, especially Mick Dundee himself, Brendan. I hope you're all enjoying your holiday, Stuart. Stuart, wonderful. I love it. Thank you. That's a very sweet message. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. And we do our best, and we love having you along for the ride.
Cheers, man.
All right. This is from Tom Stidman. It says, Dear Andy, Jamie, and guests, I came out of Aquaman yesterday, and I loved the film. It made me wonder what would be some great Aquaman Mara stories that new fans should read. I've only read the New 52 Aquaman Volume 1, The Trench, and would like to read more. Sincerely, Tom Stidman. Well, you took mine. I was going to say New 52, because that's pretty much recently that's like the most I've dove into Aquaman myself. So, Jamie, you mentioned one that's out there right now that you're really digging.
Let's see. Mara, Queen of Atlantis is a superb series. 6 issues. It was out last year. It might even be in trade by now. I'm not positive. I haven't looked to see. But if it's not now, it will be any day. The early chapters of Rebirth, especially, probably the first, say, 12 to 15 issues, has some really solid Mara stuff going on in there. In fact, issue number 6, 7, something, somewhere in there. It was early. I'm pretty sure it was before issue number 10 even. There's an issue where Mara and Arthur fight Superman that I was completely blown away by. So, I mean, there's some really good stuff going on in the Rebirth era with that. Drowned Earth, I think, again, was probably the best DC crossover event that happened this year. I'm not sure if reading that would throw you for a loop, not having kept up with what's going on with the Rebirth to that point, but still an excellent series to read just the same.
All right.
Mara,
Thanks.
Queen of Atlantis. Did I say Mara, Queen of Atlantis? Because Mara, Queen of Atlantis.
Sweet. I love it. All right, next message is from Clarence Eugene. It says, Greeting Holy BatCast family. This is more of an RF for RM question. What if Michael Jackson had played Peter Pan in Hook? Would it have been a totally different movie, and would Michael Jackson have been a great Peter Pan? See, Jamie, Real Fans is so dead, people are sending their questions here. Would it have been a completely different movie? Absolutely. Would Michael Jackson have been a great Peter Pan? You know, I love Michael Jackson. I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I think he's terrific. I don't think he would have been a great Peter Pan in Hook.
Wasn't he essentially Peter Pan in real life anyway?
Yeah, I mean, so I can relate to that, but...
I've never seen Hook, so I can't comment.
What?
You heard me.
Why are you so crazy? Okay. Next message is from Brian B. It says, "Hey guys, I hope you had a great holiday. I wish you much success in 2019. I wanted to thank you for all the work you put into the podcast, and I can't wait for what it brings going forward. Hopefully recaps of the new season of Young Justice are on the horizon. My question is this. For the sake of conversation, let's say BVS and Justice League were well received, not to the level of Avengers, but still solid hits. How many films do you think Affleck would have done? Do you think he would have done 3 Bat films as well as the original 2 Justice League films? Or would he have just done 1 Bat film and walked away to pursue other projects? Personally, I always had a hard time seeing him do 3 solo Bat films with his advancing age and his desire to do other films." Lastly, this question is for Jamie. "I've always been curious how a guy from Indiana is a die-hard Raiders fan. As an NFL junkie, I'm shocked that you're not a Colts fan and rocking an Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning jersey every Sunday. I don't judge, considering I'm a Giants fan living in Philly, but it's always piqued my interest hearing you talk the Raiders. Once again, thanks for the hard work and responding to my email. Brian B." Brian, thank you so much for the email. Jamie, you want to take your Raiders question first?
Yeah, I just to sum it up, short, sweet, and to the point. In about 1988 or so, I saw Bo Jackson run. That was all it took. I've been on the Raiders wagon ever since.
Sweet. Same. Me too. Totally. Raiders.
And he's a huge Raiders fan. He's in the black hole every Sunday. He's the guy you see with the spiked shoulder pads and the silver skull.
Go black and gray.
Pounding a lightsaber against the wall.
Go Raiders. You're the best at football. That's what you're good at.
Not this year, they weren't.
Anyway, if BVS and Justice League had gone well, I don't think Affleck ever was going to do a full trilogy of solo films. I agree with you. I don't think he just had he had too much other stuff. His original deal was 3 films. It was Batman vs Superman, Justice League, and Justice League 2, and I think that's what he would have done.
Weren't there clamorings out there even recently about basically the original vision of Justice League would have been for him to die at the end of the second one?
That's the story. I don't know how true it is, but that's the story.
I don't either, but you know how it goes out there with the rumor mills. So.
Yeah. I mean, anything's possible. If it was one of those things where, like BVS was this massive $2 billion hit and Justice League was another $1 billion, like maybe he couldn't say no to the money and he would have kept doing it, maybe. But I think he went in with the agreement of, no, you're doing 3 movies and you can still do your other stuff. I think that's the only reason he agreed to it in the first place. So that's my thought. Jamie?
I'm pretty much on the same page with that. I mean, I'd love to see him do as many as possible because I think he was absolutely fantastic in the role. But let's see, he's 46. 45, 46, something like that. And he's a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
And he's in fantastic shape, but the human body can only take so much as far as that training and everything else. So I don't know that 5 to 10 years down the road, he's going to be capable of doing the same things.
Right.
But, Richard Citrone is eternally youthful, so, I mean, he could do it forever.
Right.
So Ben would just have to stand there and talk, and Richard would handle all the cool stuff.
There you go. All right, next one's Condor Zalander. Hey, Holy BatCast family, Merry Christmas. Is there a possibility in Aquaman 2 that Black Manta goes to Atlantis, breaks Orm out of prison, and Black Manta and Orm team up to go after Arthur? Personally, I like the idea that someone brought up where both Arthur and Orm team up to defeat Black Manta. Condor, thank you for the message. Jamie, what do you think?
I'd watch that.
Yeah, me too. I do like the idea of them teaming up for real. I mean, I could see it both ways. I could see it where Orm teams up with Arthur, but I could see Orm going full crazy and teaming up with Black Manta. So is it possible? Sure. And I'd watch it.
My ultimate thing would be Manta to give fits, Arthur and Orm to be on, decent terms. Manta kills Thomas Curry and Atlanta. That sends Orm kind of over the edge. He vows revenge. Him and Arthur take down Manta, and by the end, Orm kind of stabs Arthur in the back and says, "Yo, Ocean's mine again. Get out."
You leave Thomas and Atlanta alone.
I don't want
They've
them
had
gone.
a hard road.
These are the motivations that make sense for a story in my mind. I don't want them gone.
I don't think my heart could take it.
Probably not, but it would hurt, but it would be motivational. Anyway,
right.
that's kind of where my mind goes with it. But I mean, I'm not a writer, so what do I know?
Yeah. All right, next question is from Miles Trust. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast. Last week I found myself wandering into the theater to see Into the Spider-Verse with no real expectations, and I found myself loving every second of it. What did you think? How did you think it compared to, say, Lego Batman? I really hope it does well, not just because it's a great movie, but I want to encourage the industry to make more of these unique experimental animated superhero movies. What other DC superheroes would you like to see given the multi-million-dollar animated movie treatment? Thanks, Miles." Miles, thank you for the message. I feel like we've answered this before. Someone might have asked, like what DC heroes we'd want to see in an animated movie. First of all, I saw Into the Spider-Verse. Jamie, I'm assuming you did not.
I have not, but it's not because I don't want to see it. It's because I have not had the time or ability to get out and do so.
Okay.
Well, I actually, on New Year's Day, or excuse me, on Christmas Day, my wife wanted to take the kids and I to see Mary Poppins Returns. And my kids wouldn't have any of it because they won't even sit down through the entirety of the original because my kids are communist sympathizers. You'll have to pardon them. So I said, I hear really good things about the animated Spider-Man movie, and my wife just kind of gave me that look. Y'all geeks know what I'm talking about. Your wife gives you that look. You know what I'm saying, right? Right? Yeah, okay. But yeah, it didn't happen. She wasn't having it.
Oh, all right. I did see Into the Spider-Verse. I went right before Aquaman opened because I knew that once Aquaman was open, that would be all I'd want to see. I really liked it. I thought Into the Spider-Verse was great. I'm not quite as like best movie ever as a lot of fans, but I thought it was great. So I was really happy with it. As far as a DC hero to be given that sort of treatment, I feel like, oh man, like, it's so hard to say because we've seen so many animated DC movies. So I'm trying to think of which ones you'd want to see like at the next level of like a theatrical feature. I mean, my brain goes to The Flash or Green Lantern because both of those you could have a lot of fun with their worlds, and animation gives you a lot of leeway to get super creative. With The Flash, it could be time travel and all alternate dimensions, and with Green Lantern you can go crazy sci-fi. So those are, and with Green Lantern you could also do so many of like the alien characters and things. I mean, you could do that in live action too, but animation gives you a little more freedom to do it. So those are my answers. Jamie?
My mind immediately went to Green Lantern Corps with it, but the truth is I'd like to see any of the DC characters done that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see any of the Marvel characters done that way. I mean, we all know I'm not a big Spider-Man fan, but I'll acknowledge when good is good. I thought Homecoming was a really good movie, and I enjoyed it. It narrowly missed my top 10 that year. So I don't have any objection to stuff like Into the Spider-Verse, and I want to see the film, and I hear nothing but fantastic things about it. And I think I wish it all the success in the world, and I hope it does well where stuff like that comes back around, because I dig seeing animated movies in the theater. I really do. And I think it's, for the superhero genre of it anyway, I think it's kind of lacking lately with that. I mean, we had Big Hero 6, which was great. I really loved Incredibles 2. I know you didn't. We had a whole long discussion about that on Real Fans.
We're going to talk about it again with the worst of the year.
We're going to talk, maybe going to talk about it again with the best of the year too. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, I mean, any of that stuff. I mean, even taking it outside of DC and Marvel, I mean, if you want to do like Valiant, I was never a big Valiant comics fan, but get some of those animated and into a theater, because you can control budgets a lot better with animated stuff and do more amazing things with it. Or, some of the Image characters. Bring it on, all of it. I'd love to see any of it.
All right.
But my answer for the DC characters is all of them.
I mean, yes, I will take anything, but yeah. All right, cool. Next message here is from Pastor Jasmine. It says, "Greetings, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Could we see Aqualad in the Aquaman sequel?" So he does not specify whether he's talking about Garth or Calder. But I had this conversation on Twitter the other day because I am a huge fan of Calder because I love Young Justice so much, and I think that he could be great in the sequel. That doesn't mean I don't love Garth. I think you could have both in the sequel. I think you could have Garth working with Arthur and Calder joining his father in avenging his grandfather with Arthur. And so Yes, I think we could get one or both of the Aqualads in the sequel. Jamie?
I'm reaching for my wallet right now. Definitely. I'd love to see Calder in the sequel. And, you know, as you said, given who his father is and how effective I felt his father was in that first movie, there's no reason in the world to hold him out of the second one as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Garth, I can take or leave. Calder, definitely.
Yeah. Next question is from Emad Alagoose. It says, hey guys, Aquaman was awesome. Here's some points I'd like to hear your opinion about. Number one, I think Orm needed some backstory and spent more time with him explaining his motivations, like Zod. Number two, while the movie picks up just after Justice League, only one reference to Steppenwolf was mentioned. I hoped that there was more connecting tissue. Number three, young Arthur learned his super speed by watching Volko doing it only once. I would have loved to see him struggling with his abilities, the same as young Clark in Man of Steel. I love your podcast. Ahmad, thank you for the message. Jamie, thoughts? Orm's backstory, connective tissue with Justice League, and then young Arthur learning his super speed swimming.
I thought Orm stood perfectly fine the way he was presented. Would I have liked more? Sure, but I would have taken more of just about anything that movie gave me, so that may not be the fairest assessment there. Second point again, what was it?
Connective tissue with Justice League.
Not necessary, because this was Arthur's story. It wasn't the Justice League story, so the fact that they acknowledged it pleased me enough, because that said that we're not necessarily shying away from that universe. Would more have been okay? Sure, I guess. But again, as I just said, more of anything in this movie would have been okay with me. And third thing again?
Young Arthur learning his super speed too easily.
I think that was just in the interest of saving time in the film.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I think that when Orm goes over... When Arthur is chained up in the throne room and Orm talks about all the things the surface has done to the ocean, and you see it all around him, and you see like the tanks of sludge, and you see the whales getting harpooned, and you see all that, I'm like, man, I get it. Like, for me, that was his Zod moment of you know, I only live to serve my people. Like, that was his moment, and I think that was totally effective. I didn't have an issue with that. Would I have liked even more Orm? Sure, but man, I never felt shortchanged, and I never questioned his motives with what we did get. Justice League reference, I liked I was fine with just the reference as given. Because yeah, even though Arthur did jump into the fray in Justice League, this was his story and how he really takes his place in Atlantis, and I think that's fine. And then his super speed swimming ability, you know, like, yes, you see him learn a new way to swim, but that's not necessarily the height of his swimming ability that we see. We just see the starting of it. So again, I can't complain too much about not getting more of these things because of how much they were able to fit in 2 hours and 10 minutes as it was. So I understand, yeah, sure, like a little more detail on some of these things is always nice, but for me, I never felt it was lacking in the movie that I got. All right, one last one here. This is from Whistle Red. It says, hey, Andy and Jamie, Happy New Year. Is it possible we could see Arthur and Mara's son, Arthur Curry Jr., in Aquaman 2 or in a later film? Jamie, thoughts?
I suppose the possibilities are endless, but I don't really have much in the way of knowledge of him, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much time will have passed between films. Like, is it 10 years later? Then, yeah, I think I would expect it. But if it's 6 months later, then probably not. It depends on whatever story James Wan, if he's going to do the sequel, or whoever wants to tell, and what timeline that exists in. So there you go. All right, that's where we're going to close the Wayne Manor mailbox, fine friends. Thank you, as always, for chiming in, for sending us your questions, your thoughts. We love it. If you do want to send us a message to the Wayne Manor mailbox, Again, send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. And as I said earlier, if you've got some ideas for our 200th episode celebration, send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com as well. We'd love to hear it. You can also leave us a voicemail at 323-366-9246. And the rules, if you're going to leave a voicemail, is keep it around a minute or less, and please tell us your name. So that'll do it. But that is where we're going to wrap up this episode, our special New Year's episode of Holy BatCast. Jamie, always fun to be back in the saddle.
Yes, sir. Felt like a little bit of normalcy. I've missed you. You've been gone too long.
I know. I'm still gone, really.
Technically, but you're closer to me now than you have been since last February, so there's that.
That is also very true. So, I mean, we find a Portillo's between us, we'll meet there.
Portillo's. You had to say it, didn't you?
I did. Anyway, Jamie, if the folks at home want to keep up with you, tell them where they can do that.
I'm on Twitter at BatRaider3960. I'm on Facebook, floating around various Real Fans groups, and co-hosting Please Rewind, which is now the second most consistent show of the entire Real Fans network somehow.
I mean, you could even say the reason the Real Fans show can't find time is because of Please Rewind.
It's possible, yeah.
Anyway, yes, I already told you nice folks where to find me and where to find the show, but in case you need a reminder, thank you as always for downloading the show. Please do subscribe to the show on iTunes. Please leave us a review. And most importantly, like Michael Keaton's Batman says, I want you to tell all your friends about me. Visit holybatcast.com. Visit the Holy BatCast page on Facebook. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Holy BatCast. If you want to send us an email, you can do that at holybatcast@rf4rm.com. And the voicemail number again is 323-366-9246. But that's it for this episode. Thank you as always for joining us. On behalf of Jamie, I've been Andy. Happy New Year to all of you. Here's to an amazing, geeky, wonderful 2019. But until then, we'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Holy BatCast is brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Remember, the thoughts and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone, and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
Fellas, closing time.
But we want to sing.
So start practicing for St. Patty's Day.
Hey.
Happy New Year, Commish. I heard your buddy had a rough night. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't show this time.
And break our tradition? In fact, unless I miss my guess, that's him now. How's that arm?
Better than the Joker's.
Close one this time.
They're all close ones.
Well, here's to survival. Hopefully we'll be doing this again next New Year's Eve.
Hopefully.
And now, Joe, if I could get one of your famous cheesesteaks to go, I'll be ready to call it a night. Anything for you. One of these years, I'm going to beat him to the check.